Bobby's gone off the rails. Bobby's gone off the rails! This Nikki Ash is Nikki Ass. I don't want to see it anymore.
I'm Jutnick.
And I'm Kenny Arrow. And we're about to tell you some shit you didn't even know you needed to know.
Ladies and gentlemen, you were listening to Do the Damn Dive. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Do the Damn Dive podcast. This is the 9th edition. It is currently March 30th, 2022. I am, of course, the Booker man of Do the Damn Dive, Jutnick. This is going to be my first solo episode. Over the weeks, we have a few scheduling conflicts. That's why it hasn't been quite consistent. But it's WrestleMania weekend. There's going to be a lot of crazy stuff happening in the world of wrestling. And we're all going to try to cover it as best we can. And today we're going to cover the news that Triple H was forced to retire on ESPN. He did an interview with Stephen A. Smith. So we'll just start out right with that. A few days ago, on March 25th, Triple H was interviewed on ESPN by Stephen A. Smith, of course. His health problems were actually way worse than what WWE initially put out in the announcement. And Triple H suspected he had COVID. However, he found out that he had a viral pneumonia. He had symptoms such as like coughing up blood and stuff. So Triple H went to go get his heart checked. A normal heart usually pumps out an ejection fraction between 55 to 60%. Well, the doctors discovered that his heart was only pumping out 30, which is a dead ringer for heart failure, basically. So the doctor told him that he needed to go to the hospital ASAP. And by the time Triple H got to the emergency room, his ejection fraction went down to 22%, and then it plummeted to 12% as they were operating on him, which is basically a death sentence if it's down to 12%. When the doctors got inside to check his heart, he genetically had a 99% blockage in his left anterior descending artery, which is dubbed the Widowmaker. Triple H was nearly dead. And unfortunately, he said that his family has had a history of such heart complications. Triple H said that the WWE doctors found no signs of this happening. He said they knew he had an athletic heart, which basically just like a little bit of an enlargement, I believe, but nothing out of the ordinary. This all just kind of happened all of a sudden. Triple H said he kept silent due to not having all the facts straight about the condition. I don't know, there could be more to that. He didn't really share a whole lot about that. But yeah, so that was the reason he gave on the interview as to why he never fully announced the severity of what was going on with him. Stephen A. asked, what is the future for Triple H? Triple H confirms he will never wrestle again due to him having a defibrillator in his chest. Triple H did say that there were plans for him to be on the WrestleMania 38 card or be involved with the show somehow, but obviously those plans have now fallen through. Triple H is currently scouting and recruiting the next generation of superstars, he says. As far as I know, there's been no confirmation if he's back at his old position in NXT. I don't know if they would let him back just after everything's kind of changed from black and gold to what we got now with 2.0. It seemed like Triple H's vision for that brand didn't meet up with Vince's ideas, and so yeah, maybe he'll just be recruiting and scouting for now. But very sad news. And Triple H's last match on Wwtv was against Randy Orton on the January 11th, 2021 edition of Monday Night Raw. That's where Alexa Bliss interrupted after, and I think I think Triple H set his sledgehammer on fire or something. Not the way we all expected Triple H to go out. And, I mean, it's not like he was wrestling on a consistent basis or nothing. He basically became like a corporate guy. It's not like he was, involved in the ring a whole lot from, from like 2016 to onward, maybe even before that. I mean, he really started to wind down for me around like maybe 2014. I remember watching when I was younger, and he got drop kicked or something happened with that match he had with Curtis Axel. And after that, it seemed like he just didn't wrestle a whole lot after that. So yeah, very unfortunate. We all would have liked to see him, have that last big match. I mean, I guess it's fitting that his final opponent was Randy Orton, obviously, which, I mean, in hindsight, it's not bad. But, you know, would I want to see him this year on Mania? No, but if it was his last match, it would have been cool to see him go up against maybe even Cody Rhodes or, you know, someone in that, you know, ballpark. I think that would have been a good send-off for him. But, I mean, yeah, you can't mess with heart stuff. I'm sure that stress can play a big factor into that too. So if the NXT job was getting stressful, which it probably is, I mean, let's face it, you hear a lot of people who leave WWE talk about just the stress they're under all the time, walking on eggshells and all that stuff. So yeah, but if I'm just gonna talk about some of the best memories I have of Triple H. He was definitely, as a kid, he was definitely one of my favorites. Like, I seen him as, like, the badass guy, the sledgehammer. Like, you know, like I got the action figures, all that stuff. Him and Shawn Michaels were top, you know, probably my top guys back. Like maybe even above Cena. And I remember where I lived, there was a house show, and I think they couldn't make it. They were supposed to be there. It was like the Raw roster, and they just couldn't make it. So I don't think I ever got to see Triple H wrestle live, which sucks. But yeah, I remember me and my childhood buddy, we'd watch DX clips on YouTube. And this wasn't like we watched some Attitude Era stuff, but we mainly was watching like 2000, and this probably would have been back, I don't know, like 2008 or something like that, 2007. So I was very young at that time. But yeah, we'd watch like the DX 2006 segments with Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and we got a kick out of it as kids. Obviously, I don't know if it would hold up the same now if I went back and watched it, but I always watched that. I believe it was Bad Blood 2004. If anyone remembers, correct me in the comments, but I remember watching that a lot. And yeah, so that would probably be up there for one of my favorite Triple H matches. But I mean, you look at all the moments he's had, like the Rumble return, and I believe 2002. I remember on YouTube I had a Best of SmackDown DVD as well, and I was just rewatched the match he had with Taz and all that. Just really wish I was as old as I am now to go back and watch the whole thing just to get a better perspective on it. And I am going to make an effort to go back and watch the Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression at some point. But yeah, I mean, Triple H, definitely one of the best of all time. Everyone's opinions, it's obviously subjective, but I mean, if you're just talking, okay, let's not talk about in-ring, but just star power and star quality, I mean, he's definitely at the top. He's got to be. And now, am I going to put him in my top 5 of all time? Probably not, but I mean, I think he is definitely up there, and we will see maybe a Hall of Fame induction will come soon in the next year. We don't know, but yeah, I mean, it's not wise for him, and he knows that. It's not wise to wrestle like that with all those, I mean, with a defibrillator in your chest. I mean, they'd have to like charge him up if you got, that's what he said. No one wants to see him get charged up during a match, so yeah. But we're all wishing the best here at Do the Damn Dive to Triple H, and hopefully he can get back to what he does best, which is, you know, finding talent. I think even though things didn't quite work out, there's obviously a translation issue between the black and gold NXT and main roster. And I'd even say with 2.0, I mean, we've seen what happens with guys like Pete Dunne. There's still a transition issue there that even... I'm not even that sold on NXT 2.0's success rate on the main roster yet, because we got to wait and see. I mean, realistically, we've only really seen Tommaso Ciampa and Pete Dunne come up, and they renamed Pete Dunne Butch, so that's already off to a bad start. So yeah, we will see. I feel like Braun Breaker, he'll probably break out, but for now, we're just gonna have to stay tuned for that. And we are going to move on to the WrestleMania Raw. That's what it was called. WrestleMania Raw review, March 28th, 2022. Raw was live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The card, like always, changed rapidly throughout the day, and the day of the show. We got a lot of confusing matches on this show. And it's funny because WWE's Facebook account posted a photo of a women's tag team match. It was a preview of Bianca Belair teaming up with Ronda Rousey, and they were going to take on Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, but that was obviously scrapped. I know Ronda put out a tweet saying that she was unaware that this match was happening, so don't quite know what was going on there. I feel like talent get a lot of, news last minute. They had to find out through Twitter. I've heard those stories a lot, but anyways. The show opens. WWE Champion Brock Lesnar cut a promo. Brock was having a good time throughout this whole show. He was smiling. He was playing into the crowd when they started chanting "What at him." Brock said that his Mania opponent, Roman Reigns, that their titles are going to get married. They're going to have a baby, which will be the Unified Heavyweight Championship. And he stated he will get full custody. He closed out by saying, after their match, he will stand above Roman Reigns with both titles raised to the sky and will hear chants of your new reigning, defending, unified heavyweight champion of the world, Brock Lesnar. Listen, Brock isn't, I wouldn't call him one of the best on the mic, but when he's having fun, you can tell. And that's really how you get enjoyment out of it, same with Orton too, Orton can sometimes be wooden on the microphone. I don't think he's as bland as other people might say. I think he can get fired up when the feud and the situation calls for it. But they're both having fun. It's later on in their careers. They seem to be happy in their current position. Obviously, look what's happening with Brock Lesnar. How can you not be happy in that spot? But yeah, it's good television. When they're happy, I'm happy to watch it. After this, The Miz took on Rey Mysterio. Before the match, Miz introduces Lucha Logan. So Logan Paul comes out wearing Rey Mysterio's mask that he stole last week. Dominic and Rey come out, and then Dominic just starts throwing down on The Miz and Paul. He gets ejected before the match even starts. Commentary had an interesting comment. They said that Rey Mysterio wants Dominic to work his way up to earning a mask. So it's not the other way where it's not starting out with a mask and then taking it off. Dominic's starting without a mask and trying to earn one. I really don't remember that ever being mentioned in a promo or nothing. But yeah, interesting. And this was a quick match. Rey hit a tornado DDT on the outside after both men got back into the ring. Miz goes for the slingshot powerbomb, but Rey countered with a sunset flip to win at 5 minutes and 25 seconds. After the match, Dominic comes back out, throws Logan Paul out of the ring. Logan escapes. So they kick Logan Paul. They were going for the double 619, but Logan escapes that. And as he rolls out of the ring, Dominic pulls the mask off his head. The Miz gets up, and then he gets teamed up on, gets hit with the double 619, then 2 frog splashes. Logan was just standing on the outside doing nothing, and that's basically how the segment ended. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the match. Not really for Mania. I believe it's on night 1 of WrestleMania. Listen, if Logan Paul can make it good, he's got the character and just the personality of a great heel. And do I enjoy his content, or have I ever been a Logan Paul fan outside of WWE? No, but I definitely think he can make it work. And yeah, if he impresses, we might be seeing more of him in the future. So take that for what you will. What do you guys think of Logan Paul? Let me know in the comments. We get a Veer Mahan promo package. He will make his Raw debut next week on April 4th on the Raw after Mania. So that is something to look forward to, I think. Seth Rollins discovers his WrestleMania fate. So WWE posted a video on their social media account. Seth visited Vince McMahon's office. Vince told Rollins that he did not have to go through all the hoops and the hurdles to get a WrestleMania match, and he could have just asked him. So yeah, all that work that Seth Rollins tried to do was for nothing. The matches was with Kevin Owens and AJ Styles, all for nothing. And then Vince then confirms that Seth Rollins will be in a match at WrestleMania against an opponent of Vince's choosing. Seth celebrates by dancing and jumping on Vince McMahon's table. Seth's match will take place on night 1 of WrestleMania. So it's very weird. Like this happened again with Pat McAfee, where Vince just kind of like, "Well, you want a match?" Nothing really groundbreaking to the Vince McMahon character. He's just kind of nonchalant about it. Like, "So you want a match?" Yeah, sure. So yeah, I don't know. The build has just been so weird. I mean, come on. Like objectively, nothing has meshed that well besides Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. I'm even disappointed with the Edge and AJ Styles build, but we'll get onto that. Omos took on the Viking Raiders in a 2-on-1 handicap match. Omos hit one move to Eric. It was a clothesline. I think Eric must have landed. Maybe Omos was a little too stiff with his clothesline, but yeah, Eric basically just rolled out of the ring and got counted out. The match was 45 seconds. Afterwards, Ivar got into the ring, but meets a big boot from Omos. So after that, Ivar was checking up on Eric to the outside. As far as I know, there's been no updates on Eric's condition, so I had to wait and see for that. After the match, Kevin Patrick interviewed Omos. Patrick asked if Omos thinks there's any WWE superstar that could threaten him. Omos laughs. Then Bobby Lashley's theme hits. Lashley's back. I know we got a listener here that is a big Bobby Lashley fan. The two have a stare down and get into a shoving match. Lashley was able to take Omos off his feet. The two will have a match on night 2 of WrestleMania, so it is confirmed there. This was an anticlimactic return. I mean, I feel bad that Lashley's kind of relegated to this match with Omos. I can't say I'm looking forward to it. And the sad thing with Omos is, I don't know who said this, but they seen him as the next. It was either Big Show or Andre the Giant. Honestly, he's just really a bodyguard guy, in my opinion. Like you get a heel like Styles or something, he looks good like standing behind him, in pose and figure. But as to really have a singles run, I don't know how it will shake out. I thought this return was quite anticlimactic. I mean, the crowd was chanting Bobby, the crowd was into it for sure, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe not the way I would have returned Bobby Lashley, but hey, he's on Mania at least, so that is something. After this, a 24/7 backstage segment. Reggie proposed to Dana Brooke. She said yes. Tamina runs in to try to pin the 24/7 champ, but Dana Brooke and Reggie get away. Akira Tozawa walked in. He then proposed to Tamina. Tamina threatened him at first, but eventually said yes. And the ring, Akira Tozawa was trying to get the ring on her finger, and it just wasn't quite budging, but he eventually got it down. The camera panned to R-Truth with binoculars and a referee. Truth says he has an idea, so we will probably see a follow-up of that at WrestleMania, possibly, or SmackDown. I have no clue. Not that I really care. But anyways, moving on from that. Roman Reigns with the bloodline. He's cutting a promo here. Roman Reigns demanded Pittsburgh to acknowledge him. They do, obviously. And even he got what chants from the crowd. So the crowd just really wanted to see Stone Cold. Roman recalled the downward spiral he faced with his family after losing to Brock at WrestleMania 34 in 2018. Roman then went on to say how he took Brock's manager and his record of the longest reigning champion in the past 35 years, and he took his blood at the MSG a few weeks back. He closed it by saying he's going to make this match personal because it has always been personal to him. This was a great promo. He got really intense there at the end, but I don't know if I really ever want to see a face Roman Reigns. And if we do, they got to keep that intensity with him because, when he was a face, it just like an intense Roman Reigns as a heel, I think is better than because it's just the other end of the spectrum, really. I mean, Roman is still at the top. He's still on the show, like being shoved down our throats. Not to, but it's enjoyable, and that's the thing. Even though people hated Cena a lot, he still had his fans out there. And, with Roman, yeah, he had his fans. I mean, probably the younger audience and stuff. But it just wasn't enjoyable television when he was continually pushed down our throats as a face with no real edge to him. Now he's a heel. Although he's on the show a lot and he's always at the top of the card, he is a bona fide star, the best in the company right now. I'm okay with him being on TV a lot because so far he's the best thing going. Now, will things get mucked up after Mania? I'm not too sure. Anything could happen, but he's putting in the work. I hope that this match can be the final match, first of all, between Brock and Roman. It could also be the best match that they have. So, looking forward to see how that shakes out. Big announcement, the Steiner brothers are going into the Hall of Fame this year on April 1st. The last time Scott Steiner was on Wwtv was at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view in 2004, so that was 18 years ago. I might be mistaken there, but I'm pretty sure that was like his last appearance for the company. He was a DLC character in WWE 2K14, but that was pretty much the last kind of partnership there between Scott Steiner and WWE. But yeah, cool. I mean, this is probably the only tag team that's being inducted. I think we got a very short class this year because I think, who have they announced? It's been Taker, obviously, Vader, Queen Sharmell, Booker T's wife, of course, and the Steiner brothers. So yeah, I mean, and Shad Gaspard of the Warrior War. But if that's the full Hall of Fame class, I'm fine with that. I mean, that's really what they got to do, honestly. They keep inducting so many people each year. They are going to run out, and they kind of already have. I mean, not to knock on anyone like the Bella Twins or anything like that, but, for them to be in there so soon, it's obvious that they were just running out of people. But anyways, 8-woman tag match, Sasha Banks, Naomi, Rhea Ripley, and Liv Morgan took on the women's tag team champions, Queen Zelina, Carmella, and then Natalya and Shayna Baszler. We're just going to go to the end here. Shayna got Sasha Banks on the stretch muffler submission. Shayna tagged in Natalya. Then Queen Zelina tagged herself in immediately. Shayna and Natalya hit the heart attack. Then Natalya went for the pin, but Zelina threw her out of the ring. Zelina goes to pin Sasha, but Shayna pulled her off, and then the two started bickering. Carmella she grabs Shayna by the leg and pulls her under the ropes to the outside, and Carmella is met with a right hand to the face. She goes over to crawl to Corey Graves, who's at commentary. With Zelina the only one left in the ring, Rhea hits the Riptide to win it for her team at 9 minutes and 19 seconds, and the women's tag team champions are absolute jokes, without a doubt. I don't understand why these titles exist. I don't understand why this match is on the WrestleMania card and Finn Balor versus Damian Priest ain't. And that's not to knock on the women's division or anything, but I think it's been pretty piss poor as of late. Not even the women's division, just overall, like the whole shows. The main event spots, yeah, I mean, they've been good, I guess. That's really two people. That's only Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. I mean, there hasn't been any defenses in between that, so at least Balor and Damian Priest had a consistent feud. I mean, Natalya and Shayna were just added to this fatal four-way women's tag match at Mania, and they barely even won on television. I don't even know if they have won on television in a long time. So, I don't know. Baffling decisions here. I mean, the fact that the mid-card titles ain't on Mania is just... And even with Ricochet, I can understand because, I mean, it's not like he really had a feud going into Mania, but Priest and Finn Balor did. I actually was enjoying what they was doing. And they wasn't even on the show tonight, so I don't know what's going on there. But anyways, after this, Kevin Owens promo. We got a very sick video package of Stone Cold's career over the years to some Kid Rock music. Kevin Owens started out by stating last week when he dressed up like Stone Cold, he wasn't mocking him, it was a tribute. He then confirmed that the KO show with Stone Cold will be main event in night 1 of WrestleMania. So it looks like Charlotte and Ronda Rousey got bumped. Listen, with that whole thing as well, I know all three of us ain't here to state our opinions, but I'm sure we can get more in depth with that when we do the SmackDown review. Ronda Rousey and Charlotte have not delivered on this feud at all. First, they were feuding over a submission hold, the armbar. They treated it like it was some revolutionary thing that Ronda did when it was her finisher the whole time. It didn't make any sense. Or it was just boring. Like they had nothing to go off of here besides Ronda Rousey just having that name value. I mean, it would have made more sense for her to face Becky, because we never did get that match. We've gotten Ronda and Charlotte, and all three of them went out in a triple threat match to main event Mania 35. But other than that, it's like, I mean, they don't got anything to base this feud off of. You know, and it's been bad. I mean, Ronda Rousey's just not a great actor. Now, and to be honest, I wouldn't really say Charlotte's that great on the mic as well, but, you know, a little bit better than Rousey. It's like Rousey just doesn't even want to be there. I mean, I know I'm not the first to have that, you know, thought. Everyone's thinking it, but, I mean, you just... The thing with that is when they announce these main events, you really should announce the main event like a few weeks into a program. Because you never know what's going to work and what's not going to work. You know, with Ronda Rousey and Charlotte, just, you know, I don't think it should main event. Because it hasn't sold me on the match. Will it be a great match? Probably. Most likely. I mean, they are really great wrestlers in the ring. But, I mean, with WWE talking about entertainment, they're just lacking in that. So, I don't know. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent here. Let's get back to the show review. So, Owens told the crowd that him dressing up as Stone Cold last week will be the closest we'll ever get to the old Stone Cold. Owens then said that the old Steve Austin has been gone for 19 years and he's never coming back. Owens then predicts Austin will not try to fight him on the KO show, claiming it wouldn't end well for Steve Austin here. He went on to say Austin is coming back to just have a conversation about the good old days. Owens closes the promo out by saying if there is any funny business, he's going to stun Steve Austin and then pour beer on his lifeless carcass. That's the bottom line because KO said so. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about this, honestly. I mean, I've liked what Kevin Owens has done. I mean, Kevin Owens is an entertainer and he can put on a great match, but I think would it be cool to see him in AEW? Yeah, but he's doing great in WWE. I think he definitely fits in there now. He's been there for a few years. I mean, he knows the craft and probably one of the best talkers in that company. You could even call him the best talker in the company. You know, all subjective, but yeah, he's definitely up there. Well, is it going to end well for Owens at WrestleMania? Hell no. If it turns into a match even, what I kind of see happening is maybe a 6-second squash match, which would suck. I don't even think it should be a match. I think Steve should just, you know, keep beating him down, but without it being a match. Unless it's going to be a long match. I mean, I don't know how to feel because I don't know what kind of shape Stone Cold's in. But, you know, we're only a few days away, so we'll be reviewing it. We'll let you know then, but yeah, anyways. Austin Theory versus Ricochet. The Intercontinental Champion, Ricochet, lost clean to Austin Theory in just a little over a minute. Theory hit him with the ATL. There was no Pat McAfee interference. He didn't try to cost Theory the match or get involved. And since Ricochet won his Intercontinental title, he's on a 3-match losing streak. He lost twice in one night on SmackDown last week. And now, later this week, he's going to be defending his title against Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo in a triple threat match. But it's in that report, he was internally, the number 2 babyface on the SmackDown roster. I mean, yeah, because they don't have anybody else, but, you know, are you serious? It's already dead in the water. I don't know how he can recover from that. It's just really bad booking for Ricochet. And obviously, the mid-card titles mean nothing, which sucks. What I'd like to see him do, retire the US, retire the IC title, and maybe do the AEW route and do the USA Network champion or the Fox champion or whatever. Because, I mean, as much as I like the prestige and the history of those belts, I mean, for them to just, you know, be in limbo all the time and not being treated with respect. You know, at the end of the day, they're just props. But, you know, look at all the guys that held them. I mean, you watch Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog. Do you think Bret Hart was going to go on primetime main event or whatever the next week and lose twice in one night to roll up or some shit? You know, I don't know. Anyways, after this, Bianca Belair. We got a Bianca Belair promo. Belair's throat is somewhat healed. She's kind of still selling the injury here after being attacked by Lynch 2 weeks ago. Belair said she cannot be broken by Becky, and she promises to take Becky's Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Lynch's music hits. She appeared from behind and jumped Belair. After hitting her with a steel chair, Becky grabs a bag and reveals a pair of scissors. Becky attempts to cut off Bianca's ponytail, but Belair deadlifted her up and hit her with a KOD. That looked pretty cool. Belair then hit a second KOD, then grabbed the scissors. She then cut off small chunks of Lynch's hair, very small chunks, and Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville ran out to break it up. Yeah, I mean, I am looking forward to this, and you know, if it ends with Becky Lynch winning, then I just don't know. I don't think it will. I mean, Bianca's got to win. That loss at SummerSlam made no sense at all. It's not like Becky's The Rock or, you know, Stone Cold. Like and even that, I don't really like to have. And with the Legends thing too, like to have the younger talent kind of have to mark out for the Legends on TV. And, you know, get squashed by them. I get it. They are legends, and, you know, it's a bit of a respect thing. But at the same time, like, this is WWE's problem. They have these legends that they cut, like Goldberg, for example, and they ruin what they could be building up now. I mean, listen, there is no reason why Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho shouldn't have, that match at WrestleMania 33, that should have been for the Universal title. Instead, we got Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar for the title. I mean, I don't think the title needs to be involved with that shit. You know, basically my point is, it's like they're portraying, but back when they did the SummerSlam squash match, it's like they were trying to paint Becky as in the same, you know, category as them two, like with the manhandle slam finish and all that. It's like, why would Bianca Belair like legitimately lose to that in like 30 seconds? You know, and it ruined her for a while. It did, and It's got to end up with Bianca Belair winning. It's the only way. You know, if they don't go that route, I won't know. But I wouldn't be surprised. Another person to get dealt with bad booking. Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin in a 2-on-1 handicap match. Before the match, there's still teasing dissension between Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin. Corbin isn't laughing at Moss's jokes anymore, so after the bell rings, Corbin immediately tagged in Madcap. McIntyre beat Moss down and threw him into Corbin's corner. Corbin refused to tag himself in and walked away, leaving Moss all alone. McIntyre won with the Claymore at 1 minute and 54 seconds, so another quick match here. After the match, Corbin jumped Drew and stole Drew's sword, Angela, and oh my God, what? Drew McIntyre, man. Well, like how the mighty have fallen. You know, I get that the sword was like the name's a tribute to his mother, but you know, it's just his whole character arc. This sword. Drew McIntyre was a Scottish badass that beat down whatever challengers, you know, stood in his way. But now his whole identity is just based on a sword and a feud with Happy Corbin at that. What I ask is, why would they not give the IC title to Drew while he's waiting for the main event, you know, run? I mean, at least if Drew was IC champ, I would suspect they wouldn't drop him out like they do a Ricochet. I mean, let's be honest, Ricochet isn't high on the totem pole, and he never was, and I don't know if he ever will be. But, I mean, yeah, just give the IC title to Drew. I don't know who you have him feud against, because, like, the SmackDown roster right now is paper thin. That's what happens with all these budget cuts. I think this year's WrestleMania could have benefited heavily from the Fiend Bray Wyatt being there, but I don't know. I don't know what their vision is nowadays. Edge makes his final comments to AJ Styles. Edge was talking in a dark room at a desk with a scale. He's basically bringing up the point how Edge and Styles balance each other out. Edge says Styles needed him to pull the veil of mediocrity over his head. Edge called himself the benchmark of WWE and proclaims on night 2 of WrestleMania they will have a match for the ages. Edge closed out by saying WrestleMania will be Styles' Judgment Day. And afterward, Styles is interviewed by Sarah Schreiber backstage. Styles said that all he can think about is what he is going to do to Edge at Mania. And if Edge wants a pit bull, he's going to get something much worse. Styles promises to deliver a beating to Edge that the WWE Universe will never forget. So with this build, now I can get onto it. Styles, I mean, with Ed, like, it's been cool to see Edge use the concerto, obviously, and kind of mess with Styles, over the weeks. But, we haven't really seen any fire from Styles. Like, we haven't seen Styles just jump Edge out of nowhere. And I just feel like, although the build has been okay, like, with this whole Edge heel thing, I think it's been fine. But I don't know. I kind of wish we got a little more out of this than what we did. But still looking forward to the match. Hopefully it delivers. And main event time. Raw Tag Team Champs, RK Bro, took on the SmackDown Tag Team Champs, the Usos. So that whole Survivor Series tagline's a bunch of bullshit. They're still going to use it this year. The only night where Raw and SmackDown go head-to-head, they're still probably going to use that tagline. Nothing matters. Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs come out to watch at ringside. The Usos beat down Riddle in their corner in the starting portion of the match. Riddle managed to fend both of them off with a series of forearms, but is quickly shut down, getting thrown into the timekeeper's area by Jimmy. Orton eventually gets the hot tag and was about to hit Jay with an RKO, but the Street Profits ran out and attacked RK Bro, causing a DQ finish at 15 minutes and 25 seconds. I mean, the match was going good, but I ask why it even happened in the first place, unless it was a tag team unification match, which I think would be, understandable. Because I don't know why they still have both belts. The DQ fin, I mean, that's typical Raw. It makes sense. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you can't have either team lose going into WrestleMania. But, I mean, they don't use that same logic with Zelina Vega and Carmella, so I don't know. Rick Boogs and Nakamura ran into the ring to take out the Usos. Riddle slides back into the ring to hit Angelo Dawkins with an RKO. Montez attempted the frog splash, but jumps off, and after he rolls through, Riddle threw him up, and Ford met an RKO from Orton on the way down. Alpha Academy were absent during this whole ordeal here. They are still booked for the Raw Tag Team Championship match at WrestleMania against RK Bro and the Street Profits. Yeah, I mean, we seen them in the Snickers commercial. But yeah, they weren't here, so too many Snickers, I guess. I have no clue. I am looking forward to that match, though. I mean, I think all three teams should deliver pretty solid. And we're going to close out with some news coming out of Raw. Mike Johnson of the PW Insider reported that WWE is planning on bringing in Shane McMahon for WrestleMania weekend. Shane was last on Wwtv for this year's Royal Rumble, which led to a widespread of reports that there's turmoil. That either is currently or there was turmoil between Shane McMahon and the WWE locker room. It's still up in the air at this time if Shane will be on the show in some capacity or if he's just going to be backstage. Scary news for Seth Rollins' his opponent. I'm almost certain it's Cody. I mean, I think even Jericho accidentally leaked it, unless he was just, trolling or whatever. But I don't know. It didn't seem like he was kidding. I mean, where else would Cody legitimately go? I mean, unless he makes amends with I really don't think AEW needs Cody Rhodes right now. WWE needs Cody Rhodes right now because they don't got any other top people that are built up to a certain point. Like, don't get me wrong, they got a lot of top caliber wrestlers, but none of them have been built up to. If I could fantasy book in a perfect world, I'd have Edge unveil a little bit of an updated version with the new logos and all that of the big gold belt, because when I think of the big gold belt, I think of Edge, and then him and Styles can fight for that, and that can be Raw's main title, and Reigns can have whatever shitty new design that they come up with. This Raw was just, it was so average. No, I don't even know if it's average. It might just be plain bad. We didn't really get a whole lot of wrestling, and if we, in the match we did get were only like a few minutes long at that. And some of the matches, Drew McIntyre and fighting Madcap on a Raw seems a little weird to me. I think you could have had Finn and Priest at least, but I don't know. Not a fan of this build going into Mania. Like a few things, yeah, but overall, this isn't the best effort. Hopefully the matches can turn out better than what the build is. I don't know. WWE's got a problem. I mean, they've had a problem for a long time, but, to not deliver on at least some go-home shows, I just don't understand it. I mean, you can tell it's a minimal effort because it can be. I mean, if they got they got all this money that's still coming in, and I'm sure Mania weekend's going to be great revenue for them. Sure, they'll do great. I just wish we could go back to 2016, 17 era SmackDown. SmackDown is one of the worst wrestling shows right now, which is a shame because I've always liked SmackDown. And honestly, there are some things I was liking with Raw, but now we edge closer and closer to Mania. It's just been such a, I don't know, it's been just boring. I don't know how to describe it. So just let me know in the comments, what do you guys think of this build so far? Personally, a lot of these builds that we've gotten in these matches has just not been great at all. And yeah, I guess that about wraps everything up for now. But I hope you guys liked the first solo edition of me talking for almost an hour. We are going to get the boys back together. Kenny Arrow and Broken Zach will be returning for our NXT 2.0 and AEW Dynamite review. I guess we have some big news for Dynamite with the debut of Tony Storm. So, going to be looking forward to that. I still have yet to watch Dynamite as time of this recording, but figured we'd address the Triple H thing and just talk about some Raw, and then we can get everyone together for NXT and AEW, because I feel like those are fun shows to review with a bunch of people. But for now, I've been the Booker Man of Do the Damn Dive Jutnick. Hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.